I learned from a lawyer commercial that's on our show all the time. If you go into a place of business, you have an expectation of safety.
Yeah.
But that doesn't always happen. That's why lawyers are around. It's Y101, Adam and Allison, and I bet that this German tourist who was checking out something in Egypt, I bet his family is going to have a claim.
Oh.
Because he had an expectation of safety. He was in Egypt with the fam, and he decided to check out a snake charmer show. Is that something you would ever want to be a part of?
Yeah,
if you were, all right, you'd want to go?
absolutely.
We'll see if this is still the case whenever I tell you what happened to the 57-year-old German who was at the snake charmer show in Egypt. A cobra slithered up his pants, bit him,
Oh, no.
and he died.
Oh, no.
601-995-1017. What's something you've done that after you completed the activity, you were like, oh, that was actually like real dangerous? Do you have anything like this, Allison? Because I surely do.
Yeah, I do. It was like, I don't know, 20 years ago or something. My mom and my cousins and I had all taken a trip to Disney for a week in the summer. It was so fun. And my favorite ride that we went on the whole time, I think I made us all go on it like 4 different times, was this ride, Mission to Mars.
Oh, great ride.
Amazing. So much fun. And then I remember like a month after, there was a story about how a kid who was too small had gone on that ride. And the way it works, the way it makes you feel like you're in space is it spins around super fast, and then it suspends you, like it stops, so you just feel suspended and weightless. It's very cool. But unfortunately, this kid died on this ride, and they had to shut it down for like years and years and years. I was really sad about it, but I was also like, oh man, turns out this ride pretty dangerous.
601-995-1017. You thought it was safe, then you realized how unsafe it was afterwards. It's funny you mentioned that that Disney ride.
Mission
I thought it was called Mission Space, but whatever.
Something like that, yeah.
Whenever I was 12 years old, me, my brother's parents, and grandparents all went to Disney. My grandfather, who was in his 60s at the time, Pap, just got on that ride once. And that's all he did the rest of the day. He would get in the singles line so he could just jump right off and jump right back on. He rode it like 10 times in a day.
That's what I would do too if I was an adult, but it turns out it's not that safe.
What's something you've done in your youth, maybe whenever you were younger and dumber, that looking back, it's like, oh, that was actually really dangerous because a guy went to a snake charmer show. And again, it's like a big tourist thing. You would assume that you are going to be safe from the snakes. He was not. He was fatally bitten by a cobra.
Oh, awful.
So it kind of reminded me of whenever I lived in Panama City, there were a couple different times I got on helicopters for various things that we were doing with the show. One of them was one of those like tourist helicopters. It sits like 4 or 5 people. You take it down the coast and back. It's like a 15-minute little ride. Seems very safe. The other time, it was like a vintage antique Army Huey helicopter. That one was way sketchier. The guy who was flying it was in Vietnam, and he was flying it as if he was still in Vietnam. It was the thing took off. It speeds at like the tree length. We're speeding into trees, and then he pulls it up at the last second. It was awful.
That's part of the experience. That's why you go on the Huey helicopter whenever it's in town. What I will say, though, that makes it like your nerves are up. There's no doors on those.
No doors.
So you're up in the air. And there's nothing between you and falling.
So I was very nervous about it. People were like, well, helicopters don't just fall out of the sky. You got the auto rotation landing. Even if the engine goes out or something, you're going to glide down. It'll be fine. Then a couple years back, remember that video of the helicopter in New York City? The rotor just fell off of the thing. Yeah. And then the tail fell off and they dove and everybody died. It was so... I made my decision then. I've been on my last helicopter. I've been on my last non-commercial aircraft. I'm not going on anybody's private plane. I don't have a single friend in my life I would trust them to fly me somewhere. No offense to any of my friends. We're not flying people. Not flying.
That is kind of similar to what Hannah texted in. She says, this is a little different, but I was once stuck in an elevator for 2 hours on the ground floor. Didn't think much of it other than it being an inconvenience at the time. But then I found out that elevators have to have a level below the ground floor and that I could have potentially fallen to my death.
Oh, Hannah, so scary. So wonder if Hannah's done with the elevators. I also wonder if Hannah set up a pee corner immediately. The way you're supposed to. 601-995-1017. Stephanie, what you got for us?
I rode a wooden roller coaster at Liberty Land when I was younger.
Uh-huh.
So this was like in the 90s, and it was like this big roller coaster. You know, everybody wanted to do it, and I did it. And, it was made out of wood.
Well, did anybody ever get hurt on it? Because I, too, have ridden wooden roller coasters in my hometown with Hershey Park. That was our big theme park. They actually have a dueling wooden roller coaster called the Lightning Racer, where 2 roller coasters go at the same time in your race. To my knowledge, I don't think anybody's gotten hurt.
I don't remember anyone getting hurt, but I was pretty young at the time, and just thinking about it now, I don't know if I would do it now.
Thanks for the call, Stephanie.
That makes me think about that HBO documentary about that water park
that was like
in New Jersey or somewhere, and like how dangerous it was that they were always trying to push the limits of what the slides could do, and people were like sliding off the slides.
Yeah, like ramping themselves off.
Yes.
That inspired a Johnny Knoxville movie. Do you remember that?
Oh my gosh, that's right.
I think it was called like Adventureland or something. I don't know.
I don't remember now, but yes.
601-995-1017. Courtney said, the duck tours in Branson. My kids and mother rode on a tour 1 year before the tragedy in 2018 where a tour bus was sunk underwater.
What? I did that with my family. I had no idea those were dangerous. So same place, Branson, Missouri. We did the duck tours where they can drive on land and then they turn into a boat when you drive them into the water. I did not realize that there was a tragedy around that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely something good to know. I totally forgot about the tragedy. I think there were tornadoes in the area or something, if I'm not mistaken. But Courtney, thank you for unlocking that memory. Xavius is here, and you have some firsthand experience with those?
Yeah, so my family took a trip that same summer. So I took my family to Branson. We rode those ducks. Did the whole tour thing, drove out on the water. Exactly a month later is when that tragedy happened. Oh. And there were 11 people that lost their lives, including a family of 7.
Oh my gosh.
Did you feel like you cheated death?
Oh my God, yes, I did. It was exactly a month later.
Would you ever go on a duck tour again now having that story?
Gosh, no. Yeah. I always wanted to do one of those duck tours. Figured they were perfectly safe.
Honestly, from what I remember, it wasn't that fun. So not that fun and dangerous. Not worth it.
Adam and Allison in the morning.